Hello and welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, Pat tells James all about the amazing time she had at the library sending in a grant app. Hope you enjoy. Hey James.
Yes, Pat.
Remember, I was so worried about my own learned helplessness around the grant experiment.
Yes. You were not going to apply even, right?
I was vacillating to the point where I was basically, what's the word, self-sabotaging by leaving myself too little time to apply. Anyway, I want to report that all the self-sabotage did not stop me from applying. I actually applied before the deadline.
Wow. So you defeated yourself.
Yeah, well, I felt like a winner, I guess.
Yeah, you
So
won and lost at the
I
same
went.
time.
So here's the context for anybody who's not aware of the grant experiment. About a year and a half ago, James and I started doing a grant experiment where we applied for grants. We were seeing if we could make it an alternative income stream so that we would have more time basically to work on creative stuff. And I got I just found it very difficult. I ended up like just thinking I'm gonna actually get more time to work on stuff by working than by applying for grants because the odds are very low and the process is very daunting. And we ended up switching it to a contest experiment, which we haven't reported on
Yep.
for a while. But anyway, the point
Yeah.
is, I had gotten accepted to a grant a year ago, but they ran out of money before they got to me. So I didn't get any money, even though it was a yes. And that same grant came up this year, and I had done a debrief last year where they said, just apply again. And you can, if the project has changed, you've made progress on it, reflect that change, but apply again. It's a different jury. There's nothing wrong with applying again if you're still working on the project. I thought, oh, easy. I'll do that. And then I realized the application deadline was a week away, and I hadn't even looked at the grant app. So then I flailed around and ignored it for a couple of days. Then I went away without my laptop on the weekend it was due. It was due on a Sunday, and I went away on the Friday afternoon. Didn't bring my laptop. But on the way to the place I was going, I emailed the public library and said, do I need a library card to use your computers? And they emailed me right back and said, you can get a guest pass at the desk. So I already knew that was possible. And then I said to the person I was staying with, I need to go to the library and it'll probably be an hour. And I had brought a hard copy file of my previous application, plus a bunch of notes I'd made about what's changed about the project. And I took that hard copy file, went to the library. Thank Christ I was able to get more time because after the hour was up, I wasn't anywhere near done. Another hour, I was almost done. About 10 minutes into the third hour, I actually hit submit. I had to retype my resume because I hadn't brought that on a jump drive, like my CV. So stuff like that, I was like, okay, I wasn't prepared to the extent that I thought I was. Plus, I was basically rewriting the inquiry statement. It's for a research grant so I was rewriting a bunch of stuff that's been informed by the intervening years' decisions I've made around what the novel is, And I tell you, I was in a hot lather. I mean, I was actually sitting at a sunny window. It was a beautiful day. It was great that I felt great that I was doing it, but I was like, I'm flying by the seat of my pants here, So I'll be surprised if it's a yes. I had to do the budget. I created the budget. Everything I did on the fly in 2 hours on a Saturday afternoon that I'd been avoiding for a week.
Yeah. So, two questions. One's
Yes.
easy, and the other is a little bit more involved, slightly involved. But the easy one is, did you mention, hey, I was accepted previously, this is a reapplication kind of thing?
No, I didn't. There was no place really to do that
Yeah.
in the
Okay.
application. I probably could have. I think because it's a different jury, I just thought it has to stand on its own.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's what I was thinking is, if it's the same journey or jury, maybe they would recognize you and say, oh, we really wanted this person, and now that it's a different, blah, blah, blah. Anyway,
Yeah.
the other is, Was there a source of your avoidance or waiting until the last minute,
Yeah.
or was it just you being busy and oh, there's a source? Okay.
Well, I think it was, yeah, learned helplessness. I felt like it doesn't matter what I do, I'm not going to get a
Mhm.
grant. I think it was from coming close last year and then just them running out of money. I was like, well, fuck it. What's the point, right? And it took
Yeah.
me a long time to write that grant application the first time. And, the only reason I even did it again this year was because it took me much less time, 2 hours compared to 15 hours. Like that last year, it took me 15 hours to write the grant app.
Yeah. Well, and to end up in there's usually just two categories, yes or no. And
Mhm.
then to end up in a third category is kind of like, wait, what?
Oh,
You know,
yeah. And I'm sure I
it's,
wasn't the only one in that category. The great thing about this particular Canadian grant is that you can talk to a program officer afterwards, and then they'll, and even the letters with the results said you got in, but there's no money. So I'm thinking I'm definitely not alone on that.
yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, I am wishing you luck
Thank
with
you.
it.
I'll find out in
And
May.
it's who knows? Who knows
Who
what's
knows?
gonna
I don't know.
yeah, and I mean the one thing that I always think is if you don't put it out there, nothing can happen.
Well, you really influenced me. We talked last
Good.
week and I said I don't think I'm going to have time and I don't want to bring my laptop, and you said you should do it. Not bring the laptop. You just said, you can do this basically.
Yeah. Yeah, well, you got a toe in the door, so
Yeah.
see if you can push the door open. And who
Yeah.
knows? The other big question about this grant experiment is what happens if you do get a grant? Does that open more grant doors?
I wonder.
So you apply for the next grant, you can say, I got this grant for this thing, and now I need this grant for that thing. And once you get on a roll, can you stay on it?
Yeah.
So
I wonder about that.
yeah, well, we'll find out,
We sure will.
and we will report back.
That's what we'll do.
All right.
Okay.
Bravo. And Beth, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks so much for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. Hope you have a great creative week.